Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. We here to discuss tomorrow night's game as Celtic play Dundee in the Scottish Cup. We'll also talk about the planned boycott of tomorrow night's game. I'm joined by Alistair to go over it. Alistair, how you doing?
How you doing, mate? No bad.
I'm alright. We'll go into the game in a second, but obviously I'm going to talk about the thing that's obviously been going on. It's been talked about quite extensively all week. This being obviously the boycott tomorrow night's game. The Celtic fans collective kind of came together and decided on it on Tuesday night. And I think, in my opinion, and before I get into all this, if you choose to go tomorrow, no got a problem, but don't moan at people who don't go either. So that's the way I kind of look at it.
And
It's your
vice
prerogative.
versa, yeah.
It's your prerogative to go and do whatever, but it's also your decision if you don't choose to go, which I've said I'm not going. I think in terms of boycotts, Alistair, they're always
That,
it's a kind of uncomfortable conversation to
nobody
have.
wants to do it, Josh, at the end of the day, but something had to be done because, in my opinion, the 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 collective of threatened boycotts before it meetings, but this time I don't know about you. I was in the online and you were in the room, if you don't mind me saying that, and it felt different. The whole atmosphere kind of felt different, as if to say, right, now's the time to ramp it up, and it really, and I honestly think it was always going to come. Is honest feeling, and it's tomorrow night, so we'll, we'll see we'll see how it goes. But like you say, I genuinely hope there's no stigma attached to what each and every individual decides. At the end of the day, it's up to them.
Aye, and that goes for kind of the both sides. As I say, you choose if you want to go. There's no problem. Um, if you don't want to go, then I'm not here to listen to the whole. You're not backing the team, or you. It's irrelevant in my opinion. Social media since it obviously was announced there is going to be a planned boycott. Have took it normally as you would expect them to take it. Some people have took it normally, and as I said, put it down to a personal decision. But other people are.
Social media has been a cesspit.
Aye, probably that's probably the right word. A lot of people have kind of been saying, "Oh well, you're not backing the team. You're terrible." Like, at the end of the day, right, and I'm going to say this, I've not got an issue, right, with people making a decision, as I said. But what I have got an issue with is people that continue to absolutely bootlick this board. Um, and I said I'm going to go on kind of a bit of a rant and just basically say this board. We talk a lot about harming the team and backing the team. I've said this for months now. The biggest harm that's done to this team is not a few thousand no go to a football game. I'd be pretty concerned if Celtic tomorrow lost that game just because there was a few, maybe 3,000 less fans there. I think we need to ask some questions of the team, not the fans, if that was the case. Um, but I look at it and I look at it in the sense of this board are the reason we did not qualify for the Champions League. This board are the reason that Brendan Rodgers left this club. This board are the reason that the summer transfer window was a joke. This club were the reason that fans have become disillusioned by them. This same board are the same board that didn't let shareholders who are putting money into the club have their say at an AGM just because somebody asked to skip some daft video.
And spoke to us like schoolboys.
Right, exactly. And this is the same board who have not just let who have let manager after manager after manager after manager down from Ronnie Dyler to Brendan Rodgers the first time to Ange Postecoglou to probably even Neil Lennon to now Martin O'Neill. Even in my opinion, let Wilfred Nancy down as well, if you want my honest opinion, because I
Wilfred Nancy should never have been there.
let the guy down. In my opinion, as you said, even appointing Wilfred Nancy, because I think even first few minutes of the interview, that Wilfred Nancy might have been the biggest, greatest talker of all time. I don't know, right? But surely to God, the first few minutes, you would have known that Wilfred Nancy should have been nowhere near the Celtic job, but they seem fit. They seen him fit for purpose, just because he was the Paul Tisdale's one of Tisdale's mates. They have run this football club into the complete ground over the years in terms of where this club can be. And I'm sorry, and this might come extremely entitled. League titles, they're great and all that, but it doesn't mean you stop, and it doesn't mean league titles and glory and trophies have masked this board's inability to communicate simply with their supporters. They treat the fans like customers, week in, week out, and not supporters. They don't communicate with us. You don't get any added value on a season ticket anymore in terms of, like a free Champions League game. You have to pay £35 in the summer for a pre-season friendly, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, we are not treated like fans anymore. And you can say this about all football, because I think that's the way football's going, unfortunately. But this club are just ripping the absolute piss, and all we've asked for is a bit of communication. They're banning fans outside the ground, out of the ground, the Green Brigade. The atmosphere at the stadium, terrible. What other action should be taken if you don't see a boycott is fit, in my opinion, and that is why I will not be going to game tomorrow, because the least. And as I said, if you choose to go, enjoy the game, and that's fine.
Yep.
But what I can't think, mate, is the ones that bootlick. There's a difference between just go to the game, because I get it. Families have paid their tickets. That's fine. Enjoy the game, as I says, but don't absolutely blast the people that don't. And that goes for the opposite sense. Don't call, moan at people who go to the game. That's their prerogative. It's none of the other minds or Alistair's business. But at the end of the day, this board there's no other option. They've not listened for weeks. They've been given opportunities. Even former managers, and that's what I haven't even covered. There's former managers talking about the impact that the Green Brigade not been there is having an impact. And Alistair, before I let you come in, all I'm hearing is back the team. Where was the backing last week? In the weeks before, when the Green Brigade haven't been there? Celtic Park has been a complete and utter. You could do a pin drop. It's ridiculous.
It's been like a morgue.
Aye.
It's been like a morgue. And the only noise last week was the stand up if you hate the board.
Yes.
Let's be honest. And that's been as lively as it's been for the last, I think it's 18 games in GB have missed, or the North Club are better give them the. The North Club have missed 18 games officially.
Aye, but they'll just continue to, and that's the thing. They have done so much damage to Celtic, in terms of, and I get trophies are it's great winning the league, and I keep saying to people keep saying to me, sorry, that well, maybe if we don't win the league, there might be change, but it shouldn't come down to that.
There should be change.
Aye, but there should be change no matter what. I don't think there will be, but there'll be change. There should be change no matter what if you're doing well and if you're not. And I've heard a lot of nonsense as well, or boycotts don't work. Right, so answer me this then. How come that the last two times there's been a supposed boycott, because they're talking about boycotting Braga and stuff like that as well. How come a few days later there's been either a meeting sorted or there's been somebody come out and spoke for the club? So then Brian Wilson goes to speak. You're telling me that's just coincidence there? That
He would never have done an interview.
Aye. And by the way, I'm not sticking up, and don't take this me for sticking up for the board here, right? But why is an interim chairman having that job?
That's Michael Mickelson's job.
I'm going to be honest with you, I thought some of the points, I know it's all PR shite, right? I get that, right? But I did think some of the points, I actually did agree with them, right?
I think it was a lot of it. I did honestly think, Josh, sorry, having watched it, I've watched it 2 or 3 times. I think a lot of it was scripted.
Scripted or not, at least he's come out and said something. We've got a chief executive who's paid handsomely, by the way. One of the most paid, well-paid chief executives in the UK, by the way. Is that not his job to go and do that? Why is it an interim chairman, a pensioner?
Yeah.
Why is
a guy that's pretty much ages with the interim manager, and I'm not having a go at Martin O'Neill when I say that. Oh, that's another thing you forgot to add to your list. They've had to ask Martin O'Neill to come in twice.
And they've still let him down. And that is just, there's so many. We could be all day about the list of failings of the last 10 years for the Celtic board. But even a non-footballing point of view, see, he's a businessman or an owner or whatever Dermot Desmond is, right? You should be looking at it and go, right, he's not doing his job well. And that's why I do think in the summer, Michael Nicholson will not be the chief executive of Celtic Football Club. Because there isn't, for me, it's no coincidence he's not come out and saying anything. He wasn't even at the Europa League draw last week. He sent a copper to the Europa League draw last week.
They've always done that. It was Ronnie Hawthorne before, now it's this Mark.
But why is a copper getting sent to a football? There's another thing, it's just confusing.
For security reasons, I believe. So they can talk to the club.
I don't know, man, but surely you would want your footballing people there, but I don't know. But there's, as I said, to kind of end off the boycott thing, there's nothing else that the Celtic fans could have done, and I see people, criticising the collective and all that. So what do we do then? Like, I genuinely don't know what. I've seen comments or wait till the end of the season and deal with the board and all that. What? Like,
what's the point waiting till the end of the season?
The league's done. Everybody's away fucking holiday and things like that.
And to be honest, by the time the end of the season comes, I can't speak for you, Josh, but I want to see the end of the season. I want to forget my club for 2 months.
Oh, well, we'll be able to, because we're getting under the biggest rebuild in fucking probably history.
I know, but I'm just saying in normal circumstance, you would want a kind of cooling out period, I would call it. But no, I don't subscribe to the view that wait until the end of the season. If you wait to the end of the season, to me, you're letting the board off the hook.
Aye. And this is what I'll say, because as I say, somebody that goes to the meetings and whatever, I think people on the outside in terms of social media just think it's the Green Brigade and they just rule the roost. I think if you were to go to one of these meetings, you'd be very fucking surprised. Sorry,
Josh. I thought the GB were very, very quiet on Tuesday. I didn't think about it.
Because it's not just the Green Brigade, and I think that's, I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong here, but what I'm getting is people just think it's just the Green Brigade and the wee Neds and all that. You'd be very, because I'm telling you, I went to the meeting on Tuesday and I was one of the youngest people in there.
It spoke very well, may I say.
And it's not just there's fans on the Zoom call, there's fans from the Zoom on the Zoom, or there's fans in the room. Probably a lot older and not just what you would think it is. So at the end of the day, and I look at this with the collective, the Celtic fans collective at the moment is the only fan group out there that is got all the Celtic fans together. So I think if you were criticising the collective for me, see if you don't agree with boycotts, right? What can we do then? You like give us, you need to keep you, and that's what I think. I think people just know it's just like, no, I'm no boycott, I'm back in the team. So what can we do then? What can we do then? You can't just be as, no, I'm not doing it, because I think that's unfortunately,
I
it's
mean,
just like, I'm not doing that.
although the not another penny, I think has been successful, but that can only take you so far.
Exactly, and it's people. A lot of people are like, oh, but not everybody will do it. But you're not going to get everybody to do everything. There's going to be people in that stadium.
If we get 60% or even 50-50, the board will go, oh shit. Because contrary to what people think of Desmond Mackay, and I'm going to leave Brian Wilson out it because he's temporary as chairman. He was a non-exec director before now, and he's been put into Peter Lawwell's position. But what I will say is this: if if they might be arseholes, right? But they're businessmen, and they'll go, oh shit. See if they even think 50% is at best are going to do a boycott, then they'll go, oh shit, because they've got contracts, Adidas for one, and they'll be going, what's going on here? So it is an embarrassment to them. So, and as Deep said, as businessmen at the end of the day.
I just look at people who are criticising it and go, all right, so what would you do better then? And
I can't think of a better idea.
And it might not work, but we need to at least see somebody try to make an attempt. And that, for me, that's what the collective are trying to do. The collective were criticised for not acting, for what I seen on social media. They were criticised for not acting quick enough. Then they act, and it's people saying, I'm not doing this. Because that, unfortunately, there's just people out there who will not try anything that slightly hampers the name of Celtic Football Club. They will not do anything. Well, I hate to break it to you, but we won't get anywhere then.
I agree.
And that's the thing. And I get we all love the football team, but I continue to say this. There needs to become a point where you go, I don't know, these people, the Celtic board are harming Celtic Football Club. They have harmed them out of money, out of quality. And I get, the price. There was a raise in season ticket pricing, which I understand. There's always raises, but how can the product get worse? We've not got a permanent manager. The players are rubbish. The quality, the products went down from last season. That's not acceptable. That's not how you run a business, and that's not how you run a club. If you go to a restaurant, right, they say last year it was brilliant, you go back and it's crap, you're not going to go back.
Yeah, I know.
And that's how it works with a football club. The product has diminished at this football club in terms of quality on the pitch. A manager who's going to be here for a permanent state of time. Martin O'Neill's not a permanent Celtic manager.
No.
So how the quality, the quality opposition we're facing.
I've even heard this argument, right? The 5 loan signings were brought in, and I know Oxlade Chamberlain's probably going to come in tomorrow, right? But at the end of the day, that tells you Martin O'Neill's not going to be the manager, because why we only ended up with 6 loan players?
In my opinion on the loan players, right, and I don't really buy the whole, the thing about why would you back him? Because I also do think you should be trying to make the new manager's job as easy as possible in the summer, right? And that's why I'm kind of happy they've put some option to buy him. Plus, fine, it makes sense. But and this is where all I've asked for the Celtic board, in my opinion, is communication. Why are we doing certain things? So, see if Michael Nicholson or one of the other board members comes out and goes, "Do you know what? Right, I know it might be disappointing, but we're not going to probably spend as much as we like in January because we know we've got a big rebuild coming in the summer, and we know we've probably got a new manager. We'll have a new manager coming in the summer. But you know what? We're going to try and really look into the squad in the summer. Do you know what? I'd be going.
I might not like it. I might be cynical, but at least it's an answer.
Yes, at least we can go. Do you know what? Right, okay, disappointing, of course, but do you know what? We can at least look forward to the summer to see what we can kind of bring in. We don't know what's going to happen in the summer. We don't know. So,
And let's be honest, Joyce, the board of directors, if they're doing their due diligence, should already be planning for the summer.
Aye. No. But what I would say to end off, cause we've been ranting for the board for too long, man. What I would say is, if you're gone, that's completely fine. As I said, I won't be there. Because I think it's important that the fans start to send a message that we're not happy with it. How the club's been run.
We run the collective banner, so it would be a wee bit hypocritical.
But as I said, with the collective, it's people in that room would disagree with boycotts, but that's that's the important thing. People are going to it's alright having discussions about this stuff, but in my opinion, the fans need to send a message, and the way you can do that is the boycott. But if you choose not to go, if you choose to go, fine, we'll get a problem with it. But just don't moan at people who go, and don't moan at people who don't go.
Vote with our wheels, we're going to do it.
Aye, you can speak for yourself on that one. But I don't know. We'll obviously see what kind of happens. But in terms of on the pitch, Alistair, because I want to speak about obviously on the pitch matters for about 10 minutes or so. I just mentioned a bit earlier on, it looks like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will be coming in with a 6 months deal basically at the end of the season. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to look at this. When we were first linked, I just busted out laughing.
Let's be honest.
No, to be honest, it got to that point in the window where I just started laughing. Yeah. To be honest, but the way I'm going to look at it, right, is, and the way I've tried to look at it now since the window's over, we can't go back to the January window, right? The board have put us in this position, right? And that's, unfortunately, I'm going to look at the position of if we did have a good January, which I know we didn't, right? But if we had a good January and we brought Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I'd be quite, not pleased, but I'd be like, fair enough.
It's kind of, I know this has been a cliche over the last couple of days, but it's an Aaron Moy type signing.
Aye. Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think there's anything in between with this signing. I think it's going to be Aaron Ramsey-esque, or it's going to be...
If you want my honest opinion, Joy, I don't see him playing many games. A certain many games I could reaffirm that, to be honest.
Well, obviously, we don't know, but there's no going to be in between how this goes for me. I think it's either going to be a roaring success, i.e. like an Aaron Moy, or it's going to be an absolute... it's going to be, forgettable. Like an Aaron Ramsey or something like that. Like kind of spell in Scotland, but...
I like Aaron Ramsey's spell in Scotland, to be honest.
No, but it wasn't...
we wouldn't go there.
But no, it was a disastrous kind of spell anyway. So, I mean, I think it's either going to go either way. I mean, he's not played football in 18 months. He's been training with Arsenal. but I don't think Aaron Moy was playing football much either. So the way I look at it, right,
Aaron Moy come from China.
I think he was I think not even playing in China by the time we got him as well. I think there was a big kind of the off season there. So the way I look at it, I think it could be a good signing. I think with experience and stuff like that, because we are talking about somebody who I know I talked about years ago, who was a good player, won the Premier League, won the Champions League, was decent enough for Arsenal.
Did he
And
go play that night Liverpool come back for the dead?
I don't know, to be honest. But we're looking at a decent player. I mean, I don't really know how to feel about it. If we can get somebody, I know it's Oxlade Chamberlain that's in like even half of what he was a few years ago in terms of his best, then we're on to a winner. The big thing obviously is can he stay fit because he's.
It's low risk, really, isn't it? Because
What?
it's low risk, I would say. You can get him on a 6-month contract, and I'm guessing he'll not be on big money, so he'll be on a pay-as-you-play deal, I would think. And if that's
No, we're not being a page to play though. You don't get him anymore. Like, no, you're on a contract. You're on a contract.
but he'll not be breaking the bank, I wouldn't think.
No, I wouldn't think so either. Free agents when they break the bank because they close the name, they can't come anywhere else. So I guess we're just gonna see what happens. That should be announced. In terms of the European squad, that was also announced today. Julian Araujo, Thomas Craven-Cara, and what was all one fucking another striker? The guy for Freiburg. Anyway, the guy for Freiburg.
Mentioned Junior.
Aye. So they're in the squad. Balaquisha's at the squad, and obviously,
but what a shame.
I know, but well, he's crap, so I don't.
Unfortunately, that was sarcasm, just to kind of lighten the mood a bit.
No, but no, in terms of the game tomorrow, I mean, we should be getting through. As I said, if we don't get through, then there needs to be serious questions. I think there still is serious questions in this squad, if you're not honest opinion. Certainly for myself, but
I think we'll be fine, Josh, because I think see Scottish Cup ties at the end of the day, in cup football in general, does it really matter? You're through. You're either through or you're out. There's no.
Aye. No. In terms of Dundee, I actually don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be. I don't think that.
They were at the start of the season, but it seems to Presley's kind of made them harder to break down. I still don't think they're a good watch, but I think he's made them solid. I think it'll be hard enough if we don't get an early goal, but I'm pretty hopeful we can do. I certainly hope we do.
No. In terms of the team, I mean, obviously we've got some kind of new players that we can maybe call upon. I think Sinisal will probably win goals. It's kind of the cup, so I think we'll maybe put Sinisal in goals. I think Julian Araujo will play it right back. Liam Scales will play at centre half because we didn't sign an actual centre half, but well, we did, but he's not going to start at centre half. He's not. Let's be honest. I think I'll be 6 months up here, back down the road.
I need to start out my conflicts when Stephen Presley compared to me, Virgil van Dijk.
See, to be honest with you, right, he has actually got some. Like he has. There's like high hopes for him. He is kind of an up and coming defender, like Jemai Simpson-Pusey, but we didn't use him either. So that's why the sign just baffles me. Austin Trusty will play alongside Scales. I think Marcel Srirachi might come back, and I think it's good to maybe bed him and get him a few minutes. In terms of the midfield, I mean, Arne Engels, Arnie Ingles will play. For me, Callum McGregor will obviously playing. So will Benjamin Negrin. I'm being honest with you when I say it. We've only got Negrin in that position because I look at Tati. There's been rumours that he was offered to clubs in Brazil. So I think that can by a good Brazilian publication, by the way, as
Is the
well.
Brazilian transfer window still open?
It doesn't shut to March,
Mm.
so I'm going to be honest with you. I think it confirms to me and everybody else that what we've
Well,
known
if
for a
it's,
while.
I will say this, Josh. If it's no now, it'll be the summer for sure.
See, to be honest with you, see if there was an offer on the table, I'd take it. I'm going to be honest with you, Hatati.
Do you,
He's
right, I'm
Celtic's
going to ask
deserver.
you a question. Do you think that's why only wants Oxlade Chamberlain?
See, well, you putting two and two together, and it probably looks like that. I mean, Real Hatati, and it would be. I think. See, after the sending,
Because
it would be a sad end. I think if it.
it would
But
be for me.
see after the sending off in Europe, I was like, not enough, right? Nah, let's be honest. He's
I mean, let's be honest, Josh. He's probably the reason why we've got as hard a tie as we have because I don't know about you, but 11v11, I think we beat Ball.
and I've just get. And it's the same with any players in football. I look at it and see me get a really daft sending off like he did that night. It really annoys me. It really, really annoys me. Hatate I've always liked as a player, but what never really never liked the idea of is
Inside.
not the petulance. It's when he's on it, but when he's had one consistent season for me in his Celtic career, which was Andrew Postecoglou's second season. He's never really been on it for a sustained period of time. So I don't know. I think we all know that he's wanting a move. I think that's pretty obvious.
Let's be honest, he's been wanting to move for the last year and a half.
Aye. But then that's also the fault of the club for no moving him on when he was probably at peak value because we're not going to get peak value for Real Attack anymore, unfortunately. I think what's happened with
You're looking at 5 or 6.
I think what's happened with Hatate is that he's looked at players like Matt O'Reilly, and he's looked at players like Jota when he left the first time. And like, I'm going with the next one, but then you look at but then Matt O'Reilly kind of overtakes him in terms of that. Our next best player because Hatate for a long time you're thinking he's got to be the next big money, but then Matt O'Reilly comes out of nowhere. Not comes out of nowhere, but he has a really good season and he gets his big move. Then Nicholas Could gets his big move, and I think Hatate's just at the point now where he's wanting a move, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's very hard to say somebody's chucked it, but I'm sorry it looks like that way, to be honest with you. And now that news has come out that he's been offered to clubs, I mean, I don't know. It all points to me that Hatate is his head's turned. He doesn't want to be at Celtic anymore, but I think everybody kind of knew that. So I think Negri will obviously play there. The front three, I think we'll go Taneki, Yang, and Kevin Kara. I'm going to be honest with you. Dies and Myers another one that I'm just like, your head's so far out of the game. It's actually unbelievable, to be honest with you. And it's another shame because I really like Maeda, but I mean, honestly, the performances he's been putting in the last 2 weeks is deplorable.
I've got more sympathy for Maeda.
Yes, I have.
I believe it or not, because he literally was out the door.
It's the club's fault that he's not been moved on. But his performances the last 3 weeks have been terrible. To be honest, with you, probably all season, if I'm being honest.
I honestly even remember what I would say. I don't expect you might a push get 1 or 2 in the new boys on the bench, but I do not expect Martin O'Neill to use them from the start. The only 2 he'll use is the 2 you mentioned, Josh. I think he might target Livingston as to to maybe give the new signings their debuts. I mean, no doubt if we're comfortable, we might bring one or two of them on, but I don't see them starting. I'm kind of with you on that.
Aye. But to finish off, in terms of score predictions, I don't know who goes first, so I'll go first.
Mm.
2-0.
Um, I'll go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3-1.
And Leo went 3-0, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but no, hopefully we can get a kind of comfortable win and obviously get into the next round of the cup, which is the main objective. But no, hopefully we can get a solid win. Hopefully see some of the new signings and, as I say, get in the next round of the cup. But I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight's video. We're back tomorrow with post-match reaction following the game. But until next time, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hail, hail.